Mama never had problems when choosing a wife. Shortly after his first marriage, he was already considered a good match, one of the best choices within many kilometers around. He was a worldly man living in Niamey, with a lively attitude that made him the most promising male of his clan. When he married his third wife, he had to pay 2 cows for her, which would later become the girl's mother's property. Women are the owners of their cows, except the Sudu women. It's quite surprising that a society that makes women carry out the hardest tasks allows them to own their own tent, their cows, and also have a number of rights. Until they get married, they have absolute sexual freedom, which becomes restricted only after the first son is born. Once married, they lose this sexual freedom, but instead earn the right to divorce their husbands and return to their mother's camp or to another man's camp without suffering any social rejection.
Moje. Defi moju.
Defi moju. Tajate anyama. Noveli ba.
Olo nyamre ene daga ye nyam so. Nyam tana.
Nomadic people own very few things. They could not constantly move from place to place if they had to carry so many useless things. In barely 20 minutes, the women strike the camp. They're accustomed to doing it. The need to search for grass obliges them to move frequently. During the endless 9-month period when the Sahel becomes a dry plain, they change camp locations 2 or 3 times and migrate towards the south. Every family follows pre-established traditional itineraries and joins other families near the wells, which they have been sharing for centuries. Past rains have been good, but the tendency during the last 15 years has been a dramatic decrease of northern flooding. The Uodabe have had to move closer to the agricultural areas as time goes on. Years ago, the land border between the desert and the harvested lands was vast enough to travel without any problems. Now, this border has become very narrow. Conflicts have multiplied, and many men are finding the solution to their problems in Niamey. The women mount the camp again at its new location, just as they struck it in the morning. It's the meeting point, a place for seeing the members of Mama's clan. As they have always done when the rainy season ends, the Uodabe people meet again to show that they are still alive.
We haven't seen each other since last year, and this is a very special occasion. It is special because we are together once again, and because Hamidu has come from Europe to meet us. He is a Peul as we are, but he was born in Mauritania. He is a good example for the Uodabe people, since he went to Europe to look for prosperity, and as you can see, has come here by plane, like white people do.
All the men who came together to meet Hamidu were members of Mama's clan. Mama also belongs to one of the 2 high classes in which the Uodabe people are divided. Apart from introducing Hamidu to the attendees, Mama called for this gathering in order to insist on the need to find alternative sources of income.
But this situation could change if you'd come to the city periodically. If you did so, you could earn enough money to buy food and deal with your troubles during the dry season.
ɗo en kala ɗo ɓe ndu wi'etedu amataktak e himɓe leydi azawa kanjum woni ɗo bo joni bo ko ina fulɓe ɗuuɗi nde lesdi Africa.
For years, Mama has been trying to persuade the young people not to leave the countryside. He has tried to convince them just to take advantage of the opportunities they could find in the city. He has not succeeded. The elders do not support him. They state, with experienced certainty, that the majority of those who leave never come back. Furthermore, not all Uodabe people are like Mama. With the exception of Mama, the Uodabe are shy, reserved, just the opposite of how you must act to succeed in an urban jungle.
Our celebration must be special this year. It must be a great feast. We've had rain. The animals are strong, and Hamidu has come to see us. It's as if everything was in our favor. Let's hope that in the coming years we can have the same reasons to celebrate. Let's hope that we stay together for many years. That's what we want, to remain together so that our animals and children can grow up healthy and happy.
Once the introductions to the community have been made, Mama takes Hamidu to meet Nyalauro, the chief of the clan.
This is our history, taking care of cows. When our ancestors were born, they were doing that already. They were looking after the livestock. If it doesn't rain, we cannot feed our animals, which means that there's no milk for us either. No grain grows. Everything is dry, and there's no possibility for life.
And how do you manage when this happens?
When this happens, we must go far to buy feed for the animals. We wet it and give it to them, but we do not always have enough money to buy it, and so many of our animals die. When the animals die, people also die. That's why some people move to the city. Periods of drought are becoming more and more frequent.
Yes, but for now, your animals and people look healthy, don't they? That means that everything is going well, doesn't it?
That's the miracle of living in the countryside. We can suffer 3 very bad years and the animals and people die. Then we experience 2 good years and everything is forgotten. Our grandparents left all these lands and animals to us, and it's our duty to keep them and maintain them. That's what the tradition says, and that's how it's always been. Tradition is the only force that keeps us together.
The Gerewol is a large feast. There are no gods to thank or sins to redeem. It is not an offering to an invisible divinity, but an homage that the Uodabe grant themselves for having withstood the critical problem of another drought period. For 7 days and nights, the most handsome young men in the clan will compete in elegance and congeniality in front of the women of the community. During the feast, they dance, drink, and arrange marriages. It is a celebration to complete the last cycle of the year. Later on, the new couples and the old couples will leave with their livestock to begin the eternal circle of survival once again. The feast starts with the sacrifice of a cow and the ritual of distributing the meat. The meat is divided into 7 lots, from big to small, depending on the rank within the community. Nyalauro and the rest of the old men of the council will have the biggest portion. Then comes Kayasa, chief of the dance, and his assistants. And finally, the rest of the people, who usually get just a clean bone and some soup. The Uodabe are obsessed with the number 7, for divisions as well as the rest of their activities. And this is not because they believe in 7 principal gods or that the world was created in 7 days. They do not know when the world was created, nor do they even care. They just think about things of this earth. They are neither fond of the soul, nor are they polytheistic. They do not worship their ancestors or believe that there is life after death. They accept the existence of some vague beings which they call the genies of the bush. They protect themselves from their spells by wearing many amulets in their hair or on their clothes. If a woman pierces her ear 7 times, or names her child on the 7th day after birth, it is simply because she likes this number and nothing else. The Uodabe kingdom exists and is alive in this world indeed. They try to suffer and enjoy life without waiting for a reward. They work hard for 9 months and take every drop of water out of the earth. When the rainy season comes, they receive this prize for their determination. The world of the Uodabe people is childish, sensual, and sensitive. A world of naughty glances and elegant grazing. It is a universe of hefty women and effeminate men. Men and women who must face death's menace every winter with the strength of a ship on the ocean. People who look into the eyes of life sweetly, as if there were not even a little bit of perversity to be found in their hearts.
And